Joined now by Mike Stubbs, the voice of the London Knights, the defending Memorial Cup champions. Mike, I guess we'll start off with the obvious question. Last year, heck of a season for the Knights. OT win in the Memorial Cup. Tell us about that game. Tell us about that season from your perspective.
It was incredible. There was a moment, Patrick, and there always is in a year that has the ability to do what the Knights year did last year, where you just get this sense that the team has something special. And that certainly came over the second half of the year. And then they played a first-round playoff series against the Owen Sound Attack. And Owen Sound played incredibly well in the first couple of games and had tied the London Knights and actually had them almost looking like they could be a first-round upset. And it was a tough series that the Knights eventually got through. And once they finished off that series, they won it in 6 games. They didn't lose again. And they still look back at that first-round series, a young team in Owen Sound, as being one of the main reasons that they were able to go on and win, because it taught them what it took. And from there, they just kept building and building. They won 17 consecutive games all the way to the Memorial Cup championship. And the last game, it was about as nerve-wracking as it gets. They were down 2-1. They were into their final TV timeout. And Brandon Crawley, a defenseman, stands up on the bench and he says, "No, it's not going to end this way. We have been in games like this." Everybody's head was maybe sagging just a little bit. It was looking like it wasn't going to be their day. And on the very next shift, they go out, they score, they tie it, and Matthew Tkachuk is credited with the winner in overtime as Christian Dvorak skates in front of the net. It was pandemonium for the 100 or so London Knight fans who were in Red Deer.
You mentioned Matthew Tkachuk. I guess he'd be one of the question marks around the team coming into this year. You had the 4 first-rounders, Ole Levy, Vancouver pick, Max Jones of Anaheim, and Mitch Marner, of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs pick. Which of these guys do you anticipate coming back to London this season?
That's a tough call. I think the guys who probably have the best chance of sticking would be Matthew Tkachuk in Calgary. Craig Conroy said after they drafted him almost instantly, the Calgary Flames lineup does not have a Matthew Tkachuk-like player. So they'll give him a good long look, and they should. He's incredibly mature. He's someone who you love to have on your team. He's a very difficult guy to play against. And then you've, of course, got the question surrounding Mitch Marner and the Toronto Maple Leafs. He just finished up the rookie tournament that the Leafs played in. And while he didn't get any points in the 2 games that he played, he was definitely one of the more noticeable guys on the ice. It'll depend where the Leafs feel his development is best and what's best for him. And so those 2 guys probably have the best chance of sticking. And then you've got Ole Levy. Who knows? His goal is to go and make the Vancouver Canucks. And it probably wouldn't shock anybody if he was able to do that. Incredibly smart defenseman. Wait until he puts on about 20 more pounds, because then he can be one of those dominant guys, does everything well. And Max Jones is the other first-rounder from 2016. He was picked 24th overall by the Anaheim Ducks. And he's someone who actually still has that scary element to him, where you've got to keep your head up when you're on the ice with this guy. Plus, he can shoot. He is absolutely non-stop on the ice, has great size, great athletic ability. He just has that edge to him that we don't see as much anymore in hockey.
Now, last year, you and I talked about how you were behind the microphone for the horror show of the 95-96 season, and of course, things have really turned around in London, and I think a lot of people would attribute it to the Hunter family. Of course, Dale Hunter, the head coach. What can you tell us about what they've meant to the team?
They have meant absolutely everything to this organization, to what this team has become in this city. It was a pretty humble beginning. They bought a team that essentially had an expansion roster. They were trading for other teams' cuts in their first year just to fill out their own roster. Now they are just a perennial powerhouse where they do reload. And as much as they could lose a Matthew Tkachuk and Mitch Marner, they still have the ability to come out and be a top team this year with the talent level that they have. They work tirelessly. And now you've got Mark as part of the Toronto Maple Leafs organization, but that attitude still goes through the entire organization. They'll give you the blueprint for how to put the team together. Good luck following it. It takes a lot of work.
Mike, we thank you for joining us and giving us insight on all things London. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thanks, Patrick. You too.
That's Mike Stubbs joining us here. You're listening to McDonald Auto Group Screaming Eagles Hockey, 1270 CJCB.